There's an old Latin proverb, Nessuta ultra carpe diem, which basically means let the shoemaker stick to making shoes. That's a basic breakdown. That's what he knows. He knows how to make shoes. I'm not going to go to that shoemaker and be like, hey man, make me a suit of armor, because he's not an armor guy, he's a shoe guy. And so like that is life. The problem we have when we seek knowledge is we seek knowledge from others. Now that within itself is not a problem. It's about who we go to seek that knowledge from. If you wanted to find out about shoes, you would go see the shoemaker. If you wanted to find out about a weapon, you would go to the weapon maker. If you wanted to find out about how to care for your dog, you would go see somebody that trains dogs. You wouldn't go to the pet store. See, that's the problem we have. The problem is that we would say, okay, well, I'm getting a dog. I'm going to go to the pet store and they're going to teach me how to take care of the dog. That is not true. That is seen by all the people that are walking around with dogs that act like idiots because, well, it's not the dog's fault. He has no training. That's why he's acting like that. If you want a dog to be trained right, you don't go to Petco. You go to a dog trainer. One thing that I have come to the conclusion about, and I'm sure I've known this all my life, just like most people should or would, but I never really thought about it, is how that everything is just another man's opinion. Everything is literally, everything in this world is just another man's opinion. So if I go up to one of my friends and I say, hey, you think the moon is made out of cheese? And he looks at me and goes, what are you, an idiot? No, it's made out of rocks. Well, that's just your opinion. But my responsibility was not to go to my friend who is not a astronomer, who is not a geologist, and who is not an astronaut, and ask him about what makes up the moon. My job was to find a person that would understand and would know exactly what it is. Now, they may at the same time tell me that it's made out of rocks, but I'm more guaranteed in factual evidence that their answer is correct than I am by just walking up to my buddy who calls me a moron and thinks that I'm nuts for thinking it's made out of cheese. Again, what I'm getting at is you can ask anybody their opinion on something, and it's fine to do so, but you should never take that as factual proof that that's exactly how things work. I love when people ask me my opinion on things, but I also, whenever I answer people, I tell people that, listen, this is my opinion. And my opinion is just that. It's just an idea of what I think it may be. So please, if you're going, this isn't advice. If you're asking my opinion, I will give you my opinion. If you're asking for advice, that's a different situation. Because you never want to give an opinion as advice. Because you wholeheartedly, without knowing it, could be harming that individual when they use your opinion as an advice in a certain situation, and it turns out horrible for them. People often get that confused, especially within friendships, is when they say, hey, what do you think about this? Are you asking me for my opinion, or are you asking me for my advice? It's very, very good to figure this out early on in life. And it's not that you purposely want to mess up that other person's life, but it can happen. So think about that. Opinion versus advice. I'm not innocent of that. I mean, I've probably given opinions as advice hundreds of times in my life, if not millions, and I pray that I didn't hurt anybody down the road. Yeah, you may know of the immediate effects, but I may have given somebody advice or an opinion as advice, and while they didn't listen to me at that time, they may have thought about it years later after I lost touch with them, and it may have affected them. It's not so much that I'm waiting around for the karma of that, but you just have to be careful. It's just, you don't go to a shoemaker and ask him what the moon is made out of. Even if he tells you the correct answer, even if he says, oh, it's made out of rocks, you still should go to somebody that knows what they're talking about. It's like when I first started studying religion, I decided that I wasn't just going to go online and read stuff, which is normal and which is what I do with a lot of other things. I read different opinions online. But I decided I wanted to talk to people directly. I wanted to talk to people that put their whole life into that religion. And that's what I did. One of the very first things I did upon becoming a Christian was go and find an old friend who, as a teenager, as a rowdy teenager who did nothing but eat pizza all day long on Main Street and hang out with my buddies and smoke marijuana when nobody was looking. There was one young guy that was always preaching Jesus Christ to us and to many others. And he was good-hearted and easy to talk to and would hear you out. And I didn't listen to him at the time, but he had his opinions on the matter of Jesus is what stuck with me throughout my life. And so when I finally decided to go and search and find out more about my newfound Christian life, I decided that I would have to go to quote unquote an expert. And so I started looking up to see if I could find this brother. And I did. And he helped me immensely to understand where I was, what my place was, how it would all kind of come out with God and Jesus and all that. It was still just his opinion, but I respected his opinion because I knew that he had spent his entire life studying that one subject. Now, I don't agree the same way he agrees anymore, but I still value and respect his opinion. I value and respect his opinion more than any man that runs a church because he is a good man, a good brother. I also went to other churches and such, and I asked, the quote unquote experts there, and I would get their opinion. And I noticed that a lot of their opinions all differed, and that was a problem for me. But this is just an example. This is by those other opinions not all matching up, even though they should have under the one belief religion of Christianity. That's what got me thinking about how it's all just based on opinions. So if I went to a Catholic church and asked him about Protestant stuff, he would give me his opinion on what it's like to be a Protestant, even though he's a Catholic. If I went to a Protestant church and asked about the Catholics, they would give me their biased opinion on what it's like to be a Catholic, even though he's a Protestant and doesn't know Catholic law. See what I'm saying? It's fine to have these opinions, but in order to get a factual opinion or something that's close to factual, you really should go to somebody that devotes their life to that one subject, whether it be a profession or a hobby, whether somebody builds tree forts for a living or they do it for a hobby. If they do enough of it and they put a craft into it, that is the person to go talk to about tree forts, not Google. You can get the opinion of others. You can find obviously professional opinions and facts on Google, but what I'm saying is that overall, asking somebody from the source is better than asking people that have been around the source. One of the scariest things that I see in today's society, and it's been going on since I was a child, and it's been going on before I was even born, is that we see people of either wealth or fame, and when somebody's doing an interview with them on 60 Minutes, we're glued to it. We want to watch it. What do they think about this situation in the world or whatever? We automatically, our brains kick in and go, well, that's Denzel Washington. He's a great actor, so he must know what climate change is all about. And I agree with his opinion. His opinion is no better than my opinion. Just because he went to acting school and has definitely done some great acting does not mean that his opinion on climate change is any better than your little brother who still eats paste. It's the same thing. Neither one of them are educated on climate change. If you want the opinion of a real factual basis on climate change, you would go to somebody that specializes in that. This whole recording is about realizing what an opinion is. An opinion is just another man's thought. It does not mean that it is factual unless he can prove that it is factual. There have been plenty of things that I have said, well, that's not true. There's no way that could be possible. And then I would talk to somebody else and they'd say, yeah, you're right. There's no way that's possible. And then I would go someplace and read somebody that specializes in that thing and find out it's completely possible. Still disagree. No way. This guy's out of his nuts. He's not. I don't care if he's been doing this for 50 years. Oh shit. Oh, he has facts. There's facts. Once facts come into it, an opinion is no longer an opinion. It's a scientifical proven method, basically. I mean, there can still be opinion based on it. There can still be infactual ideas. There could still be some doubt put onto it or even skepticism. But at the same time, if it has any kind of factual evidence, you have to reconsider your own opinion. So you have to understand that there's definitely people out there that can offer you a more concise and clear opinion or idea. And then there are people that you can ask. Now, listen, not all of us can walk up to the world-renowned scientist and ask them what the galaxy is made of. I understand that. But anybody that was raised or has grown up or was born in the last 20 years has unspeakable amounts of data and tools at their fingertips on their cell phones. And you probably won't find this information on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or anything like that. You'll have to search for it. But it's good to do that. I wish I had that. I had books when I was a child, and it was my own fault that I didn't go and look for the books. But now you have everything at your fingertips. especially with the increase of AI. What I'm getting at is that we can't all walk up to an expert in any field and ask them. It's just not how it works. But at the same time, we have to be careful. If we ask, hey, why does a fire burn at a certain degree that it becomes this dangerous? You could take your buddy out in the woods and light some matches, ask his opinion, throw the match on the ground, and wait and see what happens. Or you could go walk down the road and talk to a fireman. What I'm getting at is usually it is more dangerous to ask the opinions of others over the opinions of someone who bases their life on that subject. But make sure that you study and analyze his answers, his opinions, his advice, and his ideas for yourself. And please stop listening to what celebrities and politicians and all them say. Listen, I love Elon Musk. To me, he's a smart man, and I respect him for that. He's already accomplished great things for all of humanity. People just don't see it. But I would never walk up to Elon Musk and ask him, how do I sell marijuana on the streets? Because Elon Musk most likely never sold weed when he was in high school. But I had plenty of friends that sold weed when we were in high school, and I could go ask them. You see where I'm going with this? It's important not to think that just because somebody's social status puts them in a high position that we rely on them for factual information. Now, Elon Musk, if I walked up to Elon Musk and asked him what was the quantum physics of space and how is it that you can put a rocket in, he's the guy to ask. Opinions are just opinions. Everybody has them. Everybody has one. Remember that in life and you'll kind of get through. Your mission here is not to form your opinions off other opinions. Your mission here is to figure out your own opinion. The first duty of every man and woman is not to believe just because somebody else believes in something. It is to find out individually what you believe. It's not to have faith because based on other people's opinions of what they have faith in, that you should have that same faith. That's not it. It is to know and learn and understand what you yourself should base your opinion of faith in. You are here to find your own truth. You are not here to learn a dictated truth by another source, another person, another book, another anything. You are here to find your own truth. And by finding your own truth, you will go through billions of opinions. And you have to be smart, and you have to think with logic and critical thinking, and also love in your heart, and try to fully understand what your opinion is. And before you go and give it out thinking that you have the only right opinion, and I've thought all my life about this is the correct opinion, before you go out and give it freely to other people, make sure that you let them know that, hey, this is just my opinion. Because the problem with the world is we have a lot of people since the beginning of time that have tried to make their opinion law. And that's not how it's supposed to work. I love you all, and that's just my opinion. Have a great day.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness.